Okie dokie, let's crack on. So, is it recording? Let's make sure that's the case. Stop sharing. Yes, it's recording. All right. So, we just did elicitation. Now what we're going to go to is compelling close. This is all about getting yourself set up to write out your ideal close for any product or service. Basically, the premise is the process that you might choose to go through is following each section of this and writing out your response to each. You do have the workbook, which you can use to help develop this. Your goal is to pick a product or service and write a compelling close for that product or service. And then this will be the thing that you'll use consistently and refine to close people on your products and services. Lots of sections to this, lots of writing. It's the truth of business. Sometimes you need to spend time writing to refine your thinking, sometimes filming, practicing, etc., etc. So take you through it. You'll choose to do it or you won't. It's totally in your court. So first step is to build necessity, followed by relevance frame, permission, commitment frame. Let's just start there, and then we'll go to the next section. So the end outcome is you will have written out in its entirety a compelling close that you can then shorten or lengthen or refine once it's written. But you'll have more choice once you've written it all out. And you'll have a better understanding of your products and services. So, pains and gains. That's all about understanding the pains and gains of your customer segment. So this is where I would go and use your value proposition canvas, where we developed the pains and gains for each customer segment based on your products and services. Write out all the pains and gains. Identify the most prevalent one. Relevance frame. Identify relevance to the individual and confirm that they are that type of person. So for example, the pains and gains of people that are interested in the success framework, they are businesses that are very busy, that are led and run by the founders, CEOs, executives, and they have no time for anything other than running the business because they've grown organically to a point, super successful, but they have no time. And so it might be something like there's their pains and gains. They want to get time back. They have no time. All their energy and effort goes in. So identify relevance to the individual. Confirm that the person is watching, listening, having a conversation with me is indeed a founder that spends all their time doing that. Have them confirm that that's the type of person they are, either through the funnel you're building or the conversation you're having. Permission and commitment frame. You invest to get it now. Permission to offer more. So do you have permission to tell them about your product and service? This can be as simple as a literal question. Are you invested in solving this problem now? And do I have your permission to tell you more about it? Super simple. What's the name? So coming up with a compelling name of your product service. So the success framework, becoming CEO of your career. There was another one, becoming OP process, whatever it is, come up with a compelling name for your product and service. Who's it for? Define the person, where they are and what they want to do. I am looking to connect with founders and entrepreneurs who have successfully grown a business in their industry, discipline, or specialization, where they've organically grown to 15 to 30 staff. They are making significant profit compared to when they began. However, they have no time to do anything other than operate and run the business. They're noticing that the foundations are starting to crack because everything is reliant on them. And so that's painting a really clear picture of the person. define the objective or outcome. So what's the objective and outcome? So the objective I have for everyone participating in the success framework is getting really clear on who they are, where they're going, and what they're here to do. Get all of that on paper so it can be communicated and shared across the business and ensure everyone understands the business, where it's going, what it's about, core processes, all of that sort of good stuff. So it's no longer reliant on the founder having the answer to every question, and no longer reliant on the founder being the only one setting the direction and being the single point of failure in the business. Okie doke. Benefits frame. So what are some of the benefits? Clearly aligned values between the founders and individuals within the business. Clear and shared direction that has everyone's blood, sweat, and tears baked into it. So everyone's going in that shared direction. Really clear understanding of the business model, what it takes to make it successful, what are the key processes, steps, relationships, customer types. Clear understanding of the tools, skills, and abilities one needs to be able to scale and grow their business, and the implementation of rituals and routines that ensure you consistently grow over time. Benefits. Emotional stories. Tell stories about your own failure until you solved your own problem. So for me, I was a part of startups where I was an executive and we got shown some of these tools, but it never quite got us anywhere. We went through these processes and we came up with these aspirational ideas, but it didn't translate into an actual practical executable strategy. And so I got sick of either not getting the whole picture or being told to go to another place. So, you know, someone might solve the business model canvas, but that doesn't solve the operating model, which doesn't solve what's the actual direction and purpose, which doesn't solve how to identify habits. And so it was in my frustration of not being able to get the whole picture for growing and scaling a successful business that I pulled together the success framework. And so working with my other clients, list out the other successes that you've had solving this problem. I'm not going to use those clients for this video in the context of this training program, but be they small, medium enterprises, large, big businesses, consultancies, whatever, you list them out, share their successes, share what worked really well. For example, highly values aligned team, that went amazing for one of my clients. Getting really clear on the, what's it called? The trust, the relationship between trust and leadership teams for another big client. All of these things resulted in lots of clarity and direction for the business. Locations and dates. This matters if you're talking about events or products or services. It's all about the when and where. And so it doesn't need much time for me to labor on. Contrast frame. You might remember earlier in this program, I talked about investing $100,000. That's the foundation for a contrast frame. If you say you could invest $50,000 over a 12-month period to implement the success framework, or we could do a 6-week sprint for 10K where we smash out everything, get as much done and get you on track, and then leave you to sprint to the new financial year. There's a contrast between price. You can play with that a bit further. There's ways in which, especially when you're face-to-face or on a webinar, you can play with your cost structure, but the idea is about creating a contrast. Build value. So outline everything that they're going to get, define each item's value, and outline what they can do with it. So this is all about listing out every single thing of value and the associated cost to each thing. So if I literally listed out every component of the success framework, the 4 quadrants, then there'd be the thing, the value, maybe it's worth $8,000, $7,000, $2,000, etc., and the benefit or outcome they'll realize for each part. what are you doing? So define why you do this and define what you want for people. So, the reason why I do this is I want to help people learn, be better, and succeed. It's that simple. I love teaching, I love business, and I want to make sure I connect with the largest number of people to collect those skills and be really good with them and use them. What I want for people is to not be stuck at 11, 12 o'clock at night working in their accounting software after they've just finished manipulating WordPress or Wix because they're smashed and they're the only one that gets it and can do it. Scarcity frame. So this is about putting a limit on price, time, or the number available, making something special about right now. So I have a total capacity of 15 clients per year going through the success framework. I currently have 5 filled, so there are only 10 spots left. So there's scarcity. You change the scarcity of the frame based on the volume of people you're talking to and the context you're in. It should always be underpinned by a level of truth. People smell bullshit, so make sure you're telling the truth. Compelling offer. So this is all about creating a compelling offer because something right now is happening. So we're having a conversation right now. You're at an event right now, whatever it is. So there's a special price, not the 10,000 I talked about, but because you're here right now, for anyone that wants to go into a 6-week sprint, $7,000 if you sign up today. Pay cash, it's $5,000. Special price because you're here now. For everyone that takes me up on that offer, they'll get access to my school or the online platform or the Facebook group, or you'll get a free ebook, whatever it is, some sort of added value or discount that goes with this compelling offer. How to pay? Can pay by FPOS, scan this QR code, go to the website, select the product, go to the shop, whatever it is. Have one primary method is the key here. Have one primary method that is easy, consistent, and channels your cash flow into the right place. Have alternatives just when you need them. Triple yes. So ask validating questions, get yeses, hands up, repeat for multiple yeses. The more yeses you get, think back to the framing and reframing, the agreement frame. The more yeses you can get, the better. Ending on a call to action. So once this is written specifically working from a stage, but it applies to closing on multiple levels. So your call to action is, now that you've gone through each element of that and validated who they are, what it is they want, what you're offering, the price points, all of that, it's the ask. This is the most important step. If you've gone through all that, ask for the sale. Everyone that's been saying yes, the person that's saying yes to in front of you, stand up right now, go to this link, sign up. Come over to the till, sign up. Come over and complete this paperwork, sign up now. There's got to be a call to action. That's the last part of the compelling close. So what you might choose to do now is pause the video, go back to the start, list out each section, write out your responses to each thing and start refining it and practicing it. Use your workbook if you want to, or you can use some of the online tools available as well. All that matters is you start writing this out and refining it and playing with it. And that's how you develop a compelling close. The next thing we're going to jump into is the reading and leading. So this is a little bit more depth to the priming, the reading people, the framing, the eliciting. This is going to give you some skills and tools to be really successful at reading and leading people. And where we start is, what are the elements that we're going to look at? So we'll talk about measuring and testing. We'll talk about sensory awareness, and so how you look at what you can look for. Talk about rapport and eye patterns. And all of these will go into your ability to read and lead people. The reason why you want to do this is creating a connection with someone through genuine curiosity is a start point. And if you have genuinely solved your problem and you just want to help people solve the same problem, it all becomes so much easier. And we also want an edge in business. So developing these skills will put you in a great position to create greater connections with more people, however similar or different you are to them. And so let's have a look at these skills now. So sensory awareness. I was going to say Milton Erickson, but he is a part of the foundation of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. There's a gentleman that developed a large body of work on micro-expressions. So if you were to Google and research micro-expressions, and I'll make sure there's a post or a blog, Paul Ekman is his name. If you research anything about Paul Ekman, he has developed the best body of work on facial cues and universal facial cues. This, what I'm about to talk to, comes out of the Neuro-Linguistic Programming world and helps you start that journey of identifying physiological changes in people's physical bodies to indicate something is changing in their mind. It doesn't tell you a secret or anything. It's just about your ability to observe changes. You do this by observing external shifts in physiology, how they sit, how they lean, where they look, the skin tone, their lips, their eyes, their pupils. All of this indicates that their internal thoughts are happening, creating internal feelings, and the relationship between that and those internal feelings creating external changes. Are they getting up to leave? Are they leaning in because they're curious? What's happening? And so sensory awareness is how you improve your ability to observe and get more data. There's a couple of things you can look at. Breath. What's the rate? Is it fast or slow? The location, is it high or low? So by observing the breath, maybe you start a conversation and it's slow, rhythmic breathing. And then as the conversation is going, it's getting faster and faster, indicates an internal change. The location, maybe they're breathing high and fast, but then as the conversation goes on, it slows and gets lower and they're getting more and more different state. Skin color, you can notice a change from light to dark. So it's basically filling up with blood. So blood goes away from the surface, comes to the surface, indicating an internal change. Again, we're not assigning meaning, we're just observing change. Skin tone, is it getting tight or loose? So shiny or not shiny? Shiny, it's nice and tight. Not shiny, it's all loose. Again, relates to the blood, the skin reacting, all of that sort of stuff. And so you're looking at the skin tone. The lower lip size, are there no lines or lots of lines? Are their lips like pursed or are they soft? And so it's all about paying attention to the lip size. The eyes, are they focused on you or are they unfocused? Are they focused on you or unfocused? And pupil dilation, are they dilated or constricted? So are they big or small? Think of it like a camera. If they're really big, they're letting lots of light in. They're letting lots of light in to see what's going on around them. And so the first step to reading body language from this angle is to develop your sensory awareness. And in developing your sensory awareness, you're going to be able to notice when someone changes. That's the only objective at this stage. If you choose to do more stuff with becoming OP and ward, whatever, we can go into more of this. But The point is you just want to notice changes. That's your goal. Changes means something's changed. If you really, really want to start reading people, I think it's Joe Navarro, what everybody is saying. One of the number one things he teaches is if you want to know if someone's interested or not, look at where their feet are pointing. If they're pointing at you, they're interested. If they're pointing to the door, they want to leave. But the only thing that makes reading body language, not the only thing, one of the most important rules with reading anyone is you need more than 3 data points. If their feet are pointing to the door, you don't say they want to leave if they're leaning in, touching you and nodding and have deep eye contact with huge pupils. Then you know they're probably interested. If their foot's pointing at you, but their pupils are constricted, they're leaning way away from you and they're looking at the door, well, then maybe they're less interested. But the point is you need data when you're starting to read people. Where to from here? Your activity. Spend a day on each thing. Day 1 is looking at breath rate. Day 2 is looking at breath location. Day 3 is skin color. Day 4 is eyes, so on and so forth. Break it down, apply it, practice it. Next, eye patterns. So eye patterns is all about looking at where someone looks to get an insight into what they might be thinking, feeling, seeing. So it's all about additional information on their internal state. It's tied to the visual, auditory, kinesthetic stuff we've previously covered. And you might also hear them called eye accessing cues. So again, this is all about collecting more data about the person you're talking to. There can be a difference between right and left-handed people. So let's just assume we're talking about right-handed people. Excuse me. So when you're looking at someone, notice the direction their eyes go. This indicates what they're accessing. This little annotation, so the VR, AR, AID. So up, people looking up are accessing images. They're either recalling them or constructing them. If they're looking to the right or left, they're either recalling a sound or constructing a sound. If they're looking down, they're either in their feelings or talking to themselves. Excuse me. Let's own. Oh, mute. Okay. So I know I accidentally jumped forward there. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital, constructing or recalling, feeling or thinking about all the details. So top left, visual constructed, auditory constructed, accessing feelings. No. Maybe I'll have to cut this section. I stuffed up this slide. Let's just use this slide. Stuff it. Progress, not perfection, hey? Forget the other slide. All you need to know is this. They're looking up, they're either recalling images or constructing them. They're looking across, they're either recalling or constructing words, sounds, etc. They're looking down, they're feeling or thinking. That's all you need to know. That's the start point. Focus on that and start observing what's the language people are using when they're doing that. I think you get it.